Hello there you guys, welcome to another one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest news. If you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel, as always, a big breaking news now is currently coming out in the media in relation to Anthony Martial, of course, as well, who currently scored one of the goals today. Ole Gunnar Solsjaker has currently confirmed that Anthony Martial has currently picked an injury up. I don't know what type of injury it is. I think he has sustained like a bad knock or something like that as Anthony Martial, so I don't know. We don't know the extent of the current injury, of course, but hopefully he will be okay, to be involved on Tuesday night against Wolves as well. So reportedly he's picked an injury up. I think it's some kind of knock Anthony Martial has picked up, but we don't know the extent of the current injury, of course, as well as currently Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has currently confirmed as well. He has sustained this injury as Anthony Martial, of course, as well. So hopefully he will be okay for Tuesday night as well, Anthony Martial, because it's a big game on Tuesday night, going against Wolves at Molineux. I've just found out Wolves did lose today by 2-0 against Burnley, but overall, really, they've been in a good run of form of Wolves. Nuno Santo, has done a really good job with them. If I'm going to be quite honest with you, and especially, in the aspects, of their, winning record against, their record against the big teams this season has been very impressive indeed. Because the record against the big teams this season has been very impressive indeed. But Manchester United have got to put a better performance out against Wolves on Tuesday night, because we know the performance today was a very poor one indeed against Watford. And Watford played very well. They looked very good on the ball. They looked energetic. They were playing with freedom and all that. Were Watford as well. And I think the best players on the pitch today, for Manchester United, without a shadow of a doubt, were probably Luke Shaw. I thought Luke Shaw was very immense. I thought Smalling did okay, and I thought defensively, we was okay. To be quite honest with you, but we do know basically that we're still leaking a lot of chances. To be quite honest with you, even though defensively we have improved since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has come in. I don't think there was enough determination on the field. To be quite honest with you, I thought we were very slow. I thought the midfield was poor as well, and we were just very slow in that game. And I thought the difference in that game today, was the finishing in the final third. To be quite honest, because when we got our chances, we took our chances. Obviously, Watford themselves, had a lot of chances today in that game, but David De Gea didn't really have to make any world class saves, of course, as well. But they had a lot of chances, and I just don't think Watford were clinical enough, and that's why they didn't get the victory today, of course, as well. But on another day, Watford would have got all 3 points, of course, as well. But the most essential thing is that's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first win in his first game as permanent Manchester United manager, of course, as well. So this does keep our top four ambitions alive, which is very good indeed. But I thought there was a lot of bad individual performances, to be quite honest with you, as well. But I thought we just looked very tepid. The movement was poor, of course. There wasn't much tempo to his play, of course, as well. We lost the ball a lot as well. And, there's no excuse, because, obviously the majority of our players, didn't even go on international duty, of course, as well. So really, these aren't many excuses, to be quite honest with you, as well. But the most important thing is, we got the 3 points, and obviously now there's 7 games remaining in the season, as we all currently know as well. If we can get at least 15 points out of the remainder of these 7 games, I do believe Manchester United, can finish in the top 3 now, because obviously now we're sitting, level on points now with Tottenham. We've gone above Arsenal, so now we are back into the top 4. And 3 months ago, everyone ruled us out of getting in the top 4, because obviously when Solskjaer first came in, Manchester United were 11 points behind top 4, of course, as well. So hopefully, as I did say, Anthony Martial's injury is not too severe, of course. Well, I think it's just like a knock he suffered, to be quite honest with you. It was good to see him get his name on the score sheet today as well, because it was good to see Rashford get his name on the score sheet. Lovely assist, from Luke Shaw as well, and it was a good finish, from Marcus Rashford. Recently he hasn't been in great form, Marcus Rashford. I don't think he's been playing to his potential best, since he's recovered from that ankle injury, that he did sustain against Liverpool and all that as well. But Rashford, as I did say, he's a very good player. Martial's a very good player. They're both young, they're both growing, developing, and they're flourishing fantastically well. And they have got great talent, to be quite honest. How old's Martial? Is he 23? Rashford's 21, of course, as well. Martial, has got a new 5-year deal at Manchester United, as we all know as well. The good news is Rashford is on the verge of signing a new contract with Manchester United as well. The news came out yesterday about that, after obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has now appointed Manchester United manager on a full-time basis. This is convincing Rashford to commit his long-term future in Manchester United and to snub Barcelona, of course. It's also said that Real Madrid have been interested in him before as well. But I think Rashford is set to sign a new 5-year deal worth around £150,000 a week. This will make him the 5th highest paid player at Manchester United, of course. And but his current deal ends in 2020. There's also an option of a further year as well. But Rashford is ready to sign a new contract with Manchester United as well. So it's a 5-year deal worth around £150,000 a week, of course. Well, he does deserve it, based on his fantastic performances, does Marcus Rashford, to be quite honest, because mainly his performances have been very, very good. He's been a United player since the age of 7. He's born in Manchester, of course, as well. He's been a United player since the age of 7. He's been in the senior squad, since 2016, of course, as well. And he has been playing a key role under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And he does look effective, when he's playing centrally, to be quite honest. He wasn't great today, Marcus Rashford, by all means, but it was still good to see him get his name on the score sheet. It was good to see Anthony Martial, get his name on the score sheet as well, even though Martial, there was not much movement, from Martial today in the game as well. But they are still very, very young, and obviously, obviously they're still upcoming talents, to be quite honest with you as well. But Rashford's been very, very consistent, but I don't think he's been the same player since since he recovered from that ankle injury, because we know usually he's like lightning. He likes to get them runs in behind of course as well. So the good news is Man United have been in talks with his representatives over this new contract, and he's on the verge of signing a new 5-year deal with Manchester United, which is very, very good indeed. And I do think from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's perspective, obviously he's reflected on the game. Obviously he did basically, I haven't really listened to what he's basically said, but Watford did have their chances in the game, as we all know. They kept the possession well. They caused Manchester United all sorts of problems of course as well. But I don't think Manchester United really had any chances. Watford carved us open quite a few times in the game as well. Their goal right near the end was very, very good from Decore as well. I did actually see that goal. It was a very, very good goal, to be quite honest with you as well. But the most important thing is, Manchester United got the win. Of course, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he rotated it a little bit. He currently made 4 changes, in the game. Ashley Young come back into contention. De Gea come back into contention. Juan Mata got given a start, of course. Juan Mata got given a start, and who were the other one? Juan Mata got given a start, and also too, Phil Jones came in that back line, of course, as well. Lukaku didn't actually play today. He didn't come on either, but he was actually, on the bench as well. So he must have recovered from that current ankle injury. He's just recently had as well. That he did sustain against PSG. But most recently, Lukaku has been in really, really good form. He's regained his position, back in the team. And he's looked very, very effective, alongside Rashford in our front line, to be quite honest with you. So probably Lukaku should be involved on Tuesday night against Wolves, of course, as well. But overall, he's got a good pedigree in the Premier League as Romelu Lukaku, as we all know. We do know he's slow, of course, but he's still got a lot of years ahead of him. How old is he? 25, 26 years of age, or something like that as well, Romelu Lukaku. Of course, as well. So hopefully he may be involved, on Tuesday night against Wolves. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the game, today, obviously, he brought 3 substitutions on, I think, in the second half. We saw Lingard come on for Juan Mata, of course. We saw Andres Pereira come on for Ander Herrera. I thought Ander Herrera didn't play well today. I thought he was very, very inconsistent today, to be quite honest with you. Even though his performances have really, really improved under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I thought Matic, again, very, very poor indeed. And I did pinpoint out, that centre defensive midfield position. I think we need a centre defensive midfield that's fast and tenacious, because Matic, even though his performances overall have improved under Solskjaer, I've got strong reservations about him. He's still very, very slow, and I do think he looks ineffective in that midfield, and he just seems to slow that midfield down, to be quite honest with you as well. But I thought he had a poor game, and the man Matic, Pogba wasn't at his best as well. I think his mind's on Real Madrid, to be quite honest with you as well. So there was a lot of bad individual performances, to be quite honest with you as well. But the main part is, Manchester United got the win, of course, as well. But as I was currently saying, so what would I basically saying now? Basically, Solskjaer did make 4 changes in the game, of course, as well. But as I did currently say, it was essentially, that Manchester United did get back to winning ways, of course, well. So, hopefully now that momentum is back, of course, after, suffering back-to-back defeats, before the international break, of course, as well. So now we are back to winning ways, which is really, really good indeed. And hopefully now we can keep winning. If we can get 15 points at least out of 7 games, we have got a chance of finishing in the top 3. Of course, as well. But as I did quickly say, guys, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think, is the right man for Manchester United, without a shadow of a doubt, indeed. Obviously, we know the areas where Manchester United need to strengthen up. You can still see that we're lacking in areas. Reportedly, we've got a board that can, we've got a board that can invest, who Solskjaer wants to recommend to come to Manchester United in the summer as well. Obviously, we're still looking to hire a director of footballer to come in as well, and obviously we need to change the club structure and all that. And obviously, it's essential we get the right recruitment in the summer. And I think Solskjaer is monitoring, quite a few young players, of course, as well. And probably it would be ideal to get some young players that could come to Manchester United in the summer, that can grow, develop and mould under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I think he's keen on bringing quite a few English players, to Manchester United this summer as well. But I think his main focus is to bring, a right winner in. Obviously, he's focusing on attacking additions to the squad. We do know, we're all aware that we need a centre-back, of course, but I think recent reports did say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not too interested in buying any defenders this summer, and he's focusing on, other areas of the squad as well. I think he's keen on bringing a full fullback in as well as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Because I think on the left-hand side, we don't need to invest on the left-hand side. I think on the left-hand side, we're okay because that's obviously, where the majority of the attack is coming from. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, obviously, may want to recommend a central midfielder to come in, especially if Ander Herrera does leave this summer, of course, as well. We do know that there's still some contract renewals to sort out as well. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been in regular contact with Ed Woodward, what players should come in and what players should leave in the summer. I think Solskjaer wants to get rid of about 3 players, of course, this summer as well. But it's essential that we get the right players in the summer. We're getting around £200 million to spend this summer as well. So I do think we need around at least 4 players. Of course, if he can elevate to that higher level, if he can get us, challenging, next season, being potentially, title contenders as well. But yeah, Solskjaer, he's the man now at Manchester United. He's got the job on a full-time basis, of course, as well. So obviously the test is going to be for him, now for the remainder of this season, going on to next season as well. Is going to be a test for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. If he does succeed in this 3-year period, of course, as well, obviously then Manchester United will have talks, of getting him another contract, of course, as well. But I think he'll do very, very well. It may not work out. I may be completely wrong. To be quite honest with you, as well. But don't forget, we didn't invest in the January transfer window. Of course, we have had a lot of injuries, as well. So Solskjaer's done a really, really good job, and I think he's been a great experience for him so far. It's really, really good now. He's got the job on a full-time basis, and he's got his first win as permanent boss, as well. He's enjoying working with the players, the coaches, the coaches and the staff and all that as well. And he's restored Alex Ferguson's spirit levels at the club. But we know that investment is needed because obviously last summer, we didn't spend that much. Of course, we didn't get our priority targets, of course, as well. But we have got to get the right players to Manchester United this summer, of course, as well. I know a lot of money's been spent, since Alex Ferguson retired, of course, a lot of money's been spent. We've had different managers, with different types of philosophies and all that as well. But as it does stand now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's our 4th permanent manager since Ferguson retired, and he's in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team, of course, as well. But I think his main priority is to get a right winner to Manchester United this summer, of course, as well. And I think he's identified his top 3 targets. Obviously, as we all know as well, it is essential that we get Champions League football for next season, of course, as well. So in that aspect, it makes us have more of a competitive summer window. And obviously, we're trying to get the players, we're trying to get, players, that can play to the highest level, of course, as well. So it's essential that we get Champions League for next season, of course, as well. So it's either we finish in the top 4. If we don't finish in the top 4, obviously, try and succeed in the Champions League, of course, as well. But as I've been updating you on, I do think, players are going to leave Manchester United in the summer as well, as we all currently know. Big breaking news, of course, is coming out about Paul Pogba, as we all know as well. Reports have been coming out, about Zinedine Zidane. Zinedine Zidane, does praise Paul Pogba. Zinedine Zidane has admitted, he likes Paul Pogba a lot, and I think he's basically said, he likes Paul Pogba a lot, and he did basically say that, he could be making the move to Real Madrid, of course. He may be considering making a move to Real Madrid this summer, of course, as well. I think he suggested out if he leaves Manchester United, that Paul Pogba will move to Real Madrid this summer. There has been a hell of a lot of talks about it going on. This stemmed from last week, of course, from the Spanish press as well, saying that reportedly Paul Pogba has been revealed. He's made a decision on his Manchester United future, of course, as well, reportedly, as well. He's made a decision on his Manchester United future, and reportedly he intends to make a move to Real Madrid this summer, reportedly, as well. And obviously, his recent comments, he has been saying about Real Madrid, he's been talking a lot about them, saying he dreams of playing for them. He says they're one of the biggest clubs in the world, and he's described them as a dream club. So this could have concerns, for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, as well, of what Paul Pogba has said in relation, to Real Madrid and Zinedine Zidane, of course, as well. But reports have been coming out from Spain today saying that his agent Raiola has reportedly, had a couple of conversations, with Real Madrid. This is according to the Spanish outlet, in relation, to obviously in regards, to getting Paul Pogba a move from Old Trafford, to the Bernabeu in the summer, of course, as well. So I think he's intending, to make the move to Real Madrid this summer, is Paul Pogba as well. Reports have been coming out saying obviously his agent Raiola Guardiola is obviously in the process of trying to find Paul Pogba a new club. There's also been rumours of him possibly making a return back to Juventus as well, where he did have 4 good years, of course, as well. But I think his favourite to go to Real Madrid this summer, of course. I think it did say he's demanding an annual wage of around £14 million. So obviously this would make him the highest paid player at Real Madrid. So obviously he's demanding a significant pay rise as well. Reports are coming out saying that Real Madrid are preparing to offer around £125 million for Paul Pogba. But obviously Manchester United, if any offers do come for Paul Pogba in the summer, I think Man United are willing to reject any offers that come for him in the summer, of course. Reports have recently said, that he has turned down a contract offer from Manchester United as well. But obviously when Jose Mourinho, of course, I think if Jose Mourinho, would have still been here, Paul Pogba would have departed by now, because obviously he didn't have a good relationship, with Jose Mourinho and all. Listen, he's been very, very good in his 3 month or so period, under Ole Gunnar Solsjaker. He's been one of our most influential players. He's been mainly getting the freedom to express himself very, very well, and his performances have been really, really good, and he's mainly been in scintillating form as Paul Pogba, of course, as well. So I think now his mind is on Real Madrid, to be quite honest with you, as well. But as I did say, guys, there has been a hell of a lot of talks about it. But Paul Pogba is still under contract with Manchester United until 2021, of course, as well. And I think we have been in talks with, trying to get him a new contract. He's still 26 years of age, as we all know. We paid £89 million for him from Juventus back in 2016, as well. So this is his 3rd season now in the process at Manchester United, of course, as well. But Real Madrid, I think that's his fit. I think that's his likely destination, and I think he'll probably go. And I think he wants to go in the summer, because Zinedine Zidane admires the player. Obviously, Zinedine Zidane, as we all know, is obviously planning for the investment at Real Madrid this summer. He's got quite a few key targets on his agenda, as Zinedine Zidane, as we all know, as well. I think reportedly he's going to get around a £300 million spending spree to spend this summer, is Zinedine Zidane, of course, at Real Madrid as well. But he has identified, quite a few targets, and obviously, Paul Pogba, of course, is one of them as well. I think Real Madrid, were linked to him, back in 2016, of course, as well, but obviously, they didn't currently get him. So there has been a lot of reports going on about it. His agent Raiola has been in a couple of conversations with Real Madrid, according to the Spanish outlet. Obviously, regarding Paul Pogba's desire, to move from Paul Pogba's desire, to from a switch from Old Trafford to the Santiago Bernabeu, of course, as well. So there has been a hell. So there has been a lot of talk, going on about that as well, as we all know, in the current media. I was wanting to give you an update on. Obviously, reports have been coming out about Ander Herrera as well. I think his future is up in the air with Manchester United at the moment, to be quite honest with you, as well. Because recent reports have said, that PSG have expressed an interest in Ander Herrera. Of course, it did say PSG willing to offer him £150,000 a week plus a 3-year deal, of course, as well. But I think his future is uncertain at the moment. I think his future is up in the air. At the moment, recent reports did say he was keen on signing a contract extension. He wanted to stay at Manchester United, of course, as well, because he's remained loyal, at Man United. This is his 5th season now in the process with Manchester United. His performances have mainly improved under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Of course, he's been fitting in that midfield trio, very, very well, as Ander Herrera. And obviously, Thomas Tuchel's planning for the investment at PSG. Obviously, it's looking like Adrien Rabiot's going to leave PSG, of course, this summer, of course, as well. So obviously, probably PSG have identified Ander Herrera as a good replacement for Adrien Rabiot, and obviously they're looking for someone to partner alongside Marco Verratti in their midfield, of course, as well. It's also said that Arsenal have showed an interest in Ander Herrera as well, but Man United, I think, are still in talks of getting Ander Herrera a new contract at the club as well. But as I said, he was disappointing today against Watford, of course, as well. But overall, he's still a very, very consistent player indeed. His defensive capabilities are good. He breaks the play up very, very well indeed, as well. There's Ander Herrera, of course, as well. And obviously, other players are going to be leaving this summer, and I think Solskjaer did indicate, that he wants to sell about 3 players this summer, of course. Well, obviously, Valencia was mentioned. Valencia's on his way to Manchester United, as we all know. This is 10th season now in the process with Manchester United, of course. He's won everything here domestically, and overall he has made over 300 appearances in all competitions, but I think he's on his way out this summer when his contract expires. I think Marcus Rojo's possibly on his way out of Manchester United as well, because obviously I think, with the string of injuries, that Marcus Shaw has suffered, it has really affected his Manchester United career. Obviously, he's just recovered from long-term absence, as well as Marcus Rashford. I think he could be on his way out this summer. I think Darmian could be possibly on his way out of Manchester United this summer as well, after he's endured a very, very difficult time at Manchester United. We all know Sanchez is probably on his way out in the summer as well. But obviously, we know it's going to be hard to find a buyer for Sanchez. He's still out with a knee injury at the moment. I think he's set to be in contention in April. Again, he's set to recover. He's got a knee injury at the moment. He's been here just over the year. He's lacked goals and all that. He's lacked disciplinary. As Sanchez, you know, when he has been given the opportunity, it just looks so restricted. It just looks as though he hasn't settled in. He hasn't been getting that freedom, of course, as well as Alexis Sanchez. So obviously, considering substantial wages he's on, which is like over £500,000 a week, it's going to be harder to find a buyer, you know, of course, for Alexis Sanchez, of course. So Manchester United may consider, you know, loaning him out this summer, or unless Sanchez is willing to take some kind of a wage cut. But he's not playing to the highest level anymore now anyway. He is 30, you know, he has lost that yard of pace, of course, as well. So he's definitely on his way out of Manchester United this summer. Of course, as well. But as I've mainly been giving you guys an update on, you know, on the transfer rumours that have been going on as well. I think, you know, Solskjaer's actually, you know, identified, you know, his top 3 targets, of course, as well. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has, you know, basically, I think he's actually, you know, told Ed Woodward, you know, that he's keen on 3 of England's youngest upcoming prospects as well. He is keen on Crystal Palace's Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He's keen on West Ham's Declan Rice, and he's keen on Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho. Of course, as well. And actually, Jadon Sancho is the club's #1 priority target, as we all know, as well. But Aaron Wan-Bissaka, in my opinion, obviously we know he's a right back. Of course, in my opinion, we need someone young and ambitious on that right hand side. And I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka would be a good upgrade, you know, to Valencia and Ashley Young and all that, you know, because basically Aaron Wan-Bissaka is obviously only 21. He's got a lot of years ahead of him, you know, to play to the highest level. Obviously, so far, he spent the entirety of his playing career with Crystal Palace as well, you know, as you know, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, because obviously he's only 21 years of age. He only broke into the senior squad last year in February, of course, as well. I think his defensive capabilities are supposed to be very, very good. Reportedly, he's valued at around £14 million, is Aaron Wan-Bissaka as well. But Manchester United have showed an interest in him as well. But he did say the trio, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Declan Rice and Jadon Sancho, could reportedly cost Man United up to the £170 million. Solskjaer's getting over, I think, around 200 or a bit more than £200 million to spend this summer, of course, as well. So potentially, you know, the board are backing him, of course, as well. We do know that West Ham's Declan Rice has also been mentioned as well. Another young prospect, only 20. I think he's 20 years of age. Sorry, should I say? He's 20 years of age. He's a West Ham player. Reportedly, his performances for West Ham have been good this season. You know, Declan Rice is reportedly as well. He's under contract with West Ham till 2024. He's Declan Rice. I think he signed this new deal back in December as well. But reportedly this season, his performances for West Ham have been very, very good indeed. He can play as a centre-back, but I think he's actually mainly a defensive midfielder. He's Declan Rice as well. So there has been talks about that going on. But we know the club's #1 priority target is obviously, you know, Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho, as we all know as well. Sorry guys, dropped my phone. We do know our #1 target is obviously, you know, Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho, as we all know as well. And obviously that's the club's #1 priority target. You know, Manchester United are heavily linked with him, of course, as well. And you know, we have heard a narrative about it for the last 4 or 5 weeks now, of course, as well. You know, there has been a lot of rumours, you know, going on about, you know, that Manchester United are heavily linked to him. Could cost Manchester United up to the £100 million to get him this summer. So it could cost Manchester United a nine-figure sum, you know, to get Jadon Sancho this summer. So if we were to come to the agreement to get him in the summer, this would make him the most expensive English footballer of all time, of course, as well. But he's had a good couple of years in Germany, you know, Borussia Dortmund. You know, he's grown, developed, and he's flourished, you know, fantastically well as Jadon Sancho. And as I did say, we do need someone on that right hand side, you know, that can play between the bylines, you know, that can put crosses into the box. And you know, I do think, you know, Jadon Sancho, you know, is capable of doing this. You know, to be quite honest with you, he still remains under contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2022, as we all know, as well. But Borussia Dortmund paid what, £8 million for Manchester City. So financially, you know, Borussia Dortmund, you know, would make a huge profit on the player. But obviously, he did serve a couple of years at Manchester City, as we all know as well. But he's attracted interest, you know, from quite a few teams across Europe, as well as Jadon Sancho. But Manchester United, of course, are heavily linked to him, and I think Solskjaer is keen on bringing him in. And I think I think Jadon Sancho is a solution to Manchester United's problems, and I do think he'd complement our team very, very well. And don't forget, he's only just turned 19 years of age. stage. Only broke into England senior team last year as well. And, Borussia Dortmund, have been known, for doing business with their players, of course, as well. So he remains the number one target for the summer, of course, as well. There's Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho. But obviously, we do know there's other targets that have been mentioned as well, who Manchester United have reportedly been interested in. We do know, obviously, we've been long admirers of Napoli's Koulibaly, of course, as well. Recent reports now have basically said, according to what Carlo Ancelotti has basically said, reportedly he says, Koulibaly will not leave Napoli, and Ancelotti insists that Koulibaly is currently not for sale, of course, as well. Even though Manchester United, of course, have been long admirers of Koulibaly, because obviously we're aware that we need a world-class centre-back, we need an experienced centre-back, and of course we need someone, that can partner alongside Victor Lindelof, of course, well, because we still know that the futures remain uncertain of Phil Jones, the futures remain, uncertain of Eric Bailly, because Eric Bailly, of course, has been in and out of the team this season, of course, as well. But Napoli's Koulibaly, Man United have been long admirers of him. Back in January, Manchester United, of course, had 3 bids, turned down for Koulibaly as well. The recent one was £95 million. Recent reports were actually, coming out saying that reportedly Manchester United being informed, it would, if Man United had any chance of getting him in summer, it would cost us in the excess of at least £130 million. So, of course, this is making the most expensive defender in world football. Obviously, we'd have to break our transfer record, of course, as well. But now, according to Ancelotti, he insists that Koulibaly will not leave and that Koulibaly is currently not for sale. Koulibaly still remains under contract with Napoli till 2023, as we all know, as well. But he's grown, developed, and flourished, fantastically well indeed. And he's been in Italy a number of years now. His performances have been fantastic. He's versatile. His defensive capabilities are very, very good, indeed. But Man United have been long admirers of him, of course, as well. But I think Solskjaer now has got other alternative options, that he's weighing up, of course, as well. Because obviously, to be quite honest with you, Koulibaly does look now in jeopardy, to be quite honest with you, as well. But Manchester United, have been linked with him, of course, as well. But, there's other players, Manchester United, of course, have been linked with him as well. As you do know, Rafael Varane's name has also, been mentioned as well. And obviously, he's another central defender, of course, only, 25 years of age is Rafael Varane. Reports do say according to the Metro, if he decides to leave Real Madrid this summer, reportedly, Manchester United are preparing to pay up to £100 million for Rafael Varane, and that's the type of players Manchester United should be targeting. World class players, and Rafael Varane is a world class central defender, of course, and it's remarkable what he's achieved, at Real Madrid, and what he's only 25 years of age. Of course, he's still got a lot of years ahead of him, as Rafael Varane, as well. There has been reports saying that he could consider, leaving. There's been reports saying that he could leave Real Madrid possibly, this summer. Rafael Varane, even though Zinedine Zidane, wouldn't want him to. He's remained loyal at Real Madrid. I think this is his 8th season now, is it, with Real Madrid. Rafael Varane is still under contract at Real Madrid, till 2022. I think he's got a huge release clause in his current deal, as well with Real Madrid. I think his release clause is around £400 million or something like that as well. But he reads the game very, very well. He's very good in the air, and he reads the game very, very well. He's well composed, shows that ability to play out from the back, and he looked very, very good alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line, with Rafael Varane, of course, as well. So we have targeted, quite a few defenders. I have been giving you an update on as well, but I think Solskjaer is focusing on more attacking additions to the squad, to be quite honest with you. As well. But as I did want to give you an update on, there's been some news. Solskjaer's confirmed, as I said, Martial reportedly has sustained an injury. We don't know the extent. Of the injury. Probably more things will update. I think it's a bad knock or something like that he has suffered. Obviously, more news will follow probably tomorrow or Monday or something like that. But I don't think it's too severe, and hopefully he will be okay to participate against Wolves on Tuesday, of course, as well. But he has picked an injury up. We don't know the extent of the injury. But it does reportedly say that I think it's some kind of bad knock, that Anthony Martial has currently suffered as well. I think, we've only got a few injuries now. I think Valencia's still out with injury. I think Darmian, I think, still out as well. But, a lot of players, have now recovered from injury, which is very, very good. He did, of course, Sanchez is still out as well with a knee injury as well. So as I did say, it wasn't a vintage Manchester United performance today against Watford. It was a very, very poor performance from Manchester United. But we used to do it under Alex Ferguson. For years on them. We had 26, 27 successful years under Alex Ferguson, and we did it a lot under Alex Ferguson. To be quite honest, we never played it to our best, but we just knew how to win games. We knew how to change. He knew how to change the game. We knew how to grind results out as well. So as long as you're winning games, obviously I want us to perform really, really well. But sometimes it doesn't work like that in football, of course, as well. On another day, probably we would have won that game today on another day, because Watford on another day would have probably took their chances. They had the card is open. Quite a few times. They looked good on the ball, of course, and they did cause Manchester United problems today as well. But we were so slow. We looked very tepid. We would give the ball away too much. We couldn't even hold on to the ball. We couldn't really string a lot of passes together. Of course, well, there wasn't much movement from Manchester United, and I just think there wasn't enough determination on the field. To be quite honest with you as well. I think we were slow going into tackles also, so it was very, very disappointing indeed. Obviously, news will follow. About the Wolves game. I'll give you a bit of team news on that maybe tomorrow or Monday, of course, as well. So anyway, guys, don't be quite below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing to my channel as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again.